What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful day. I hope everyone is healthy and well. Today, we'll be reacting to my first NHS A&E experience as an American. I was shocked. Original video link will be down below in the description. Shout out to Tudor Yank, the Tudor Yank. I hope I'm saying that right. Feel free to check out her original channel and video in the description down below. Feel free to follow the Twitch as well. Here we go, man.
Today, I thought I would talk about my experience with the NHS so far. Luckily, personally, I have not had any emergencies since getting here. I am dealing with still trying to get my prescriptions from the US transferred to over here. Prescription names and
Now,
medication.
how long does that usually take? Getting like prescriptions and medications like transferred over. I understand it's probably not the same pharmacies and stuff like that we're used to in America. So, how long does that typically take?
Prescriptions from the US transferred to over here. Prescription names and medication names in the States are a little different here due to, of course, trademarks and
Right, right.
for-profit healthcare. My first experience with the NHS here was actually when my husband had to go to A&E last December. And for you Americans out there, A&E is the same as the ER in the States. Now he was dealing
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Americans out there, A&E is the same as the ER in the States. Now, he was dealing with a chest infection, upper respiratory issue, couldn't figure out what it was, but in the middle of the night, one night, he was having a really difficult time breathing. His father has a history of heart attacks, so
Oh,
to be
no.
safe, we decided just to go to the A&E to make sure everything was okay. And luckily, it was. It was really nice to have that peace of mind just to double check because, as you know, if you're having a heart attack, time is of the essence. Now, we
Oh,
did
yeah.
opt to just take an Uber, call us American in that sense. I know that you can call an ambulance here, but the hospital wasn't very far and it seemed like it was probably the fastest option. Again, as Americans, we're really conditioned never to call an ambulance.
That's
You
right.
don't know if that ambulance sent will be in network for your insurance. So it's very possible you could get a bill a couple months later for five to $10,000 because the ambulance sent to you wasn't in network. Now, when
That's what I'll be talking about. And nobody should be thinking like that. In the span of an emergency, nobody should be thinking about cost too much if I call the ambulance. Well, no, you should be thinking I need to save my life. I need to help myself. Call the ambulance. We should be able to rely on the emergency services. We are scared of them because of the prices. We're not scared of them. We wish they could come. It's the prices. We're scared of the debt. I'm sorry. I'm gonna survive and live my life for what? To be in debt? Take me then. I might as well lead the world. And if my time is my time, you know what I'm saying? And this is why we are trained to think like that. And that's horrible. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not. You know how many times I felt a pain? I know numerous people. They felt like a little pain in the chest. And it'd be random. Like we play sports and everything. We healthy. Work out and everything. Eat good. Swell. No fast food, nothing. And I'd be like, whoa. A lot of people experience that. I've spoken to a lot of people and they ignore it. Let it bypass. Hopefully it goes away. And it get bad to where it's like you try to breathe in, but it hurts so bad, like you can't breathe. So you stop, like you're afraid to breathe because it just hurts. It's like, oh my gosh. Still not calling the ambulance. Still not calling the ambulance.
five to $10,000 because the ambulance sent to you wasn't in network. Now, when we got to A&E, he was still waiting on getting his NIN number in the mail. While he is a British citizen, he had never lived here before, so he didn't have a number yet. This was
Right.
actually no problem at all at the A&E. He gave them his information and they said they would be able to find that later for him. So when we showed
That's
up
what's
to
up.
A&E compared to the ER in the States, he didn't have to do a mountain of paperwork while he's sitting there in pain. He didn't have to show his insurance card. None of that. It was just treated as an actual medical issue. Now, it was a Saturday night around 1 to 2 in the morning, so the A&E was pretty busy at this time, but he did
1 to 2 in the morning. Damn. It was busy at 1, 2 in the morning? So when is it not busy? She said the morning, right?
treated as an actual medical issue. Now, it was a Saturday night around 1 to 2 in the morning.
It's a Saturday night too. Oh yeah. What? Forget that. In America, you're not getting in. You're not getting it. Ma'am, sir, please have a seat. fill out the paperwork, da 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 da. We'll get to you when we can.
So the A&E was pretty busy at this time, but he did get through the whole process in probably 4 to 5 hours. It slowed down in time because they initially took him in to check right away that he wasn't having a heart attack. And once that was confirmed by the first round of doctors, due to being triaged, he was not put as a priority issue. Thank goodness,
Yeah.
right? Like, thank goodness it wasn't a heart attack. And it was nice to know that information right away.
Oh
They took
yes.
him to the back and checked his blood pressure and a couple other things. That's where they confirmed there was not an active heart attack going on, and they drew blood. About an hour later, we got his blood results back, and then it was two more times going to the back over the course of the evening to see various doctors and nurses and have tests ran,
Just to make
then just
sure.
back
Yeah.
to the waiting room.
Right.
I
Right.
will
Right.
say in the waiting room,
Imagine that. 4 to 5 hours, you done. Man, you got the blood work back in an hour. Imagine waiting 4 to 5 hours. You still gotta wait for the blood work to get back.
nurses and have tests ran, then just back to the waiting room. I will say in the waiting room, the vibe and the tone is completely different than ERs in the States.
Oh, is it?
People were making small talk. There were people kind of laughing. It was filled with people, but no one looked as depressed as ERs in the States look. In the States, you also sit in the ER for hours. 8 to 10 hours for a non emergency in the ER is not an exaggeration, especially depending on where you're at and the size of the hospital, the size of your city, where the next nearest hospital might be. All of these things affect your wait time. And yes, that is with crazy expensive insurance.
I don't even think they honestly care. Hey, they treat us so cruel. I remember as a kid waiting in the hospital all day with my grandmother. Long story short, pregnant lady right there, begging, pleading, literally on her knees. Please, I'm hurting. Please, I'm about to go into labor. But she's like, the way she's crying it and pleading for help, I'm like, man, can y'all like get this woman some help? And I'm seeing this as a kid. And I'm traumatized. Like, grandma? What's going on? Ah, it's all right. Just calm down. Like it was screwed up. I'm not gonna lie, it was. Please, I'm hurt, and then like I'm like, yo, she's on her knees right now. I can't even imagine the type of pain like people like women in labor go through. We don't know as men. We do not know. And it was like cruel, and it was a woman treating her that way. So I'm like, you don't have no type of understanding, even if you don't have kids. Like, really? You treat us like animals.
Affect your wait time. And yes, that is with crazy expensive insurance. Now, people in the ER in the States without insurance tend to be the ones that wait the
Oh
longest,
yeah.
unfortunately. While that is not legally how it's supposed to go, we all know that's not necessarily going to affect what actually happens. So, after a few rounds of tests, at the very end of it, around 5, 6 in the morning, the doctor came and spoke to him, and it turned out he had a chest infection. They were able to give him antibiotics right there. He didn't have to go to a pharmacy afterwards or a separate location to get his medications later, didn't have to show an insurance card, nothing. He just got treatment and got to go home and rest and recover. Now, I got my NIN number a couple months ago. Luckily, I haven't really needed anything. I did make an appointment to go talk to my GP about how to get my medications switched over here from the States, which I will admit is going to be a whole process because of the way the two medical systems are set up differently and what doctors you see for certain steps to get those diagnoses, and they don't recognize the diagnosis in the States from my general practitioner who is a doctor. It needs to be from a specific type of specialist, which is a little frustrating. But in terms of frustration with healthcare, literally the least frustrating healthcare situation I've ever dealt with. Now, I know there's so much more to the NHS than my one little experience, and I do plan on digging in and giving a more deep dive coverage of what it's like dealing with the NHS compared to American healthcare. But I just wanted to share one of my first experiences off the cuff dealing with the NHS and what a positive experience it was compared to dealing with healthcare in the States.
Mm.
I had private healthcare in the States, and because my husband's job offered his insurance through his job, and my job is freelance, which means there's no employer to offer me those insurance plans, I was able to get on his plan through his job as my insurance due to
That's why it's always good to have a partner. if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, it's good to have a partner that went to college and they have a career, occupation where those type of things are included. Oh yes. Otherwise, look, we both cannot be entrepreneurs in this household. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna work, especially in America. Well, at least in America, one of us gotta have that insurance, that fully covered, for real.
I was able to get on his plan through his job as my insurance due to being married. They didn't cover mine, it just gave me access to better coverage insurance.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was to pay out of pocket as a freelancer, the coverage I would get would be much lower at a higher premium. I did want to add one little tidbit. I actually grew up in Kentucky with no insurance my entire life. The first time I ever had health insurance was when I was 25. I grew up with a single parent, and my
I'm gonna
mom
keep it 100. She think it's smart. She like me. I'm thinking like, hey, at a certain age, by a certain age in the U.S., you are kicked off of your parents' insurance. It's like, well, do I really need it if I don't do the annual doctor visits? I don't do these random checkups. I keep myself healthy, stable. I know what's going on with my body. You know what I'm saying? And this and that. I don't feel the need to spend the extra money monthly. You'll be fine. But okay, but say we have other people in this world we can't control now, and they do something to you or they harm you. That's when you get screwed over a little bit in the process. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult getting covered, and you'll be paying out of pocket. There's not gonna be nobody to benefit, to cover you, to help you in that situation. It's more so like there's no win-win. It's a lose-lose situation. You got into an accident that somebody else caused, and now you got to come out of pocket this and that. You don't really have that much coverage. Not much they could do for you. So it's a gamble. You take a lot of risk.
insurance was when I was
I'm trying to see which one.
25. I grew up with a single parent, and my mom owned a video store in the 90s. She only had one employee, so she didn't have insurance plans, not even enough to cover herself. But because she made just $1,000 too much a year, we were unable to access any government benefits or subsidies to get access to health care.
That's how they get
So
you.
my
You
mother
make
and
too
I
much.
had to just pay out of pocket for any emergency room visits, any doctor's appointments. The only time healthcare would be covered would be if you were in a car wreck. You would at least be able to get that stuff checked out. But when it came to having yearly physicals and various tests as a woman as you grow older, all of that I had to pay out of pocket.
And I realized as a man, we don't really have to do the annual check. I mean, what? Let me stop. Because there's the older men that go do the annual checkups in America. I forgot what it's called. It's like certain procedures and stuff though. But like how females actually go like every 3 months. Some go every month and they get checked. And it's like, you got to get certain body parts checked and this and that. They actually are required to go more frequently. Males aren't. I noticed that in the US. So how is it in your country? How is it in your country, guys? Somebody please let me know. Do we have more women doing these annual checkups, or is it just not a thing? Is it like, man, if I don't feel good, if I'm sick, if I'm unhealthy or unwell, we're gonna go. If I feel something's wrong or I see something wrong with my body or body parts, we're all mature here. I'm gonna go, but I'm not gonna go every month, every 3 months, and pay this money for them to say you're all good.
As a woman, as you grow older, all of that I had to pay out of pocket. Now, that experience isn't uncommon, especially when you're from poorer state in the South, which most of the states south of the Mason-Dixon line are. The healthcare access is terrible, if not non-existent. In my hometown, there were very limited number of general practitioners you could see, and the one that everyone went to with the best reputation literally had posters hung up that said, he will not prescribe birth control or Viagra if you are not married. And then there was a lot of religious iconography all in the office. But in this small town, this was your only choice. Kentucky
Wait. So in order to do abortion, you got to get married in certain. I didn't know that. How does that work out? Now, hey, I guess we're protection, right? Maybe you won't have as many slip ups. And then maybe we won't have as many abortions, right? Either you're prepared or you're not. No slip ups.
also has a very unique setup when it comes to liability for medical malpractice, which is a very low payout no matter how extreme the case is. So in Kentucky, you end up with a lot of doctors that can't get insurance in other states for their practices
Yeah.
because they are not necessarily the most effective doctors, I would say is the nicest way to put it. My hometown has one hospital, and basically every family in town has some horror story dealing with this hospital. Being over here and having access to universal health care, I don't even know how to mentally process it yet. The idea of just making an appointment on a phone app when I'm not feeling well, I'm gonna have to reprogram myself to actually be more proactive about my health, being more preparatory versus more reactionary to when I notice different things in my health. Now that I don't have to fear if I go to this doctor and then he recommends a specialist, and is that specialist in my network? And then when I go to that specialist, the test they run, the lab they send it to, is that lab in network?
Mm.
How much will this cost me at the end on top of already having to pay my insurance premiums? And once I get a diagnosis, will I be able to afford the treatment? These are real questions that Americans have to ask every time they use their health care, that they pay a premium for. Don't forget, Americans pay the highest insured costs in the world, yet we have statistically the worst outcomes.
The
I do plan
worst.
on doing a deeper dive into how the NHS started and the history of it and what a fabulous service it is. If you would like to see those videos in the future, please leave a comment below. Let me know any questions you have about American healthcare. Are you curious how that works out? I know it's a very complicated system. I would do my best to explain the pyramid of American healthcare. And like always, please like and subscribe, press that little bell, and I'll talk to you soon.
That was an amazing video. Original video link will be down below in the description. Now I just have one final question. Since the healthcare situation is absolutely better out there in your country, does that actually cause more people, men and women, to go for like annual checkups and want to keep up with their health and just go for a checkup, even if it means nothing's wrong with them or they didn't see any signs of, oh, maybe I'm sick or something's wrong with me or I'm ill, you know? Does it have a big impact? Like, do people actually do annual checkups more often? Because there's people in the US that don't do it at all. Then we have some people that are addicted to like the oh my gosh, addicted to hospitals and like private healthcare centers and stuff. Like my grandmother, just constantly always there, trying to look for advice, this and that, and they're just pushing her to this medication, that, this, that. It don't make no sense. Do they do that to you guys? They try to like prescribe you different medications and put you on and recommend certain things as well and come up with lies so that you guys have to pay money so that at least if you came for a free annual checkup, say nothing's wrong with you, they at least got something out of you like a sale, because that's how I feel like these doctors offices out here be moving. They be trying to get sales out you, bro. Well, if you like these, I recommend these tablets. I could prescribe it. No, then I'm addicted, right? And then I gotta come back and get what, 30 more, what, 20 more milligrams higher in the dosage. I don't got time for that. I don't have time for it. So please let me know, as a man and as a woman, how often do your spouse, your kids, how often do y'all go to the emergency room? Well, ours is called the emergency room. Yours is called the A&E. How often do you go there? How often do you actually go for annual checkups and get your body checked? Is it normal or is it weird? And what does A&E stand for? I'm not ending this video until I figure that out as well, because I'm like, how America has the ER. What does A&E mean in other countries? Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Accident and emergency. Accident and emergency. I was going to ask that question in the video, but I knew I was going to look it up regardless. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Feel free to educate me down below in the comment section. I'm sorry if I had so many questions, and I'm sorry if any of my questions were stupid in any type of way. Just trying to learn a little bit more and understand this. Forgive me, guys. I'm thinking about moving up out of here. Everyone stay safe. Feel free to follow the Twitch in the description, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video. Share your honest thoughts and your experiences as an American or, coming from another country. What is it like? Whether you experience the American healthcare system or as an American, experience a healthcare system within another country that's completely better than ours? Go ahead, keep it 100. Let me know how it was.